Alright, welcome back everyone. Now in the last video we had sorted out obviously these link rod issues. Now I went back to the one that they supplied in the kit for this one. Well, in actual fact I didn't look at the instructions properly. It said in the instructions to have the servo horn like this at an angle as opposed to straight down. I just presumed being straight down would be the way to do it, but it wasn't. So the one that they supplied in the kit wasn't long enough, so I've gone back to the one that I made. I think they said it needs to be 63mm long. It's actually ended up at, I can't remember what it was in the end. It's ended up at roughly 61.5. So that seems to be the right length, because with it, what they said 63, this part was hitting the servo on lock, so that seems to be the optimum position for it. That seems to work quite well. And yeah, basically in the instructions it said to pay special attention to the position of the servo horn, so remember to read the instructions properly. Right, now, valves. This is the little valve that's going to go in the undercarriage, or one of them. I've done exactly the same on this as I've done on the 6 valve block in the main part of the body. I've taken out them 2 plugs and obviously checked that both ways are completely clear. Turn these to make sure they're nice and free, which they are. So with the servos, I've already put one on here. With the servos, I've centralised these to the channels that they're going to be used on, so I know that when we go to obviously fire it up later on, that they're in the right position. So when fitting these, I like to, it tells you to put these on the servos and then put the servos in the valve. Well, I actually like to put these on the valve first, just slide it on and then fit the servo onto that, and then you've got obviously some movement there, and then you know that when you do that up it's going to be in the right place. And then pull it off and do it on the other side. And then when you go to fit it back in the block, you know that it's in exactly the right position. Same with this one, which I've already done. So that's them. Now we need some M2x6 button heads. I'm not going to put any thread lock in these, just because of the plastic on the servo. Like I said before, the thread lock eats plastic. So just to make sure, I mean they're quite a tight fit in the servo anyway, so I can't see them working themselves out easily. Anyway. Now, my last video was about an hour long. I don't know if that's too long or not. I didn't expect it to be quite so long, if I'm honest. So basically, let me know in the comments if you'd want shorter videos but more often, or whether or not you would rather longer videos. So just let me know what you think. Now when you're doing these up, obviously because you're doing them against the plastic, don't over tighten them so they distort the plastic. They need to be obviously tight, but not so tight that you're going to snap the lugs off. Right, that's that. I've already assembled these hoses because they're just time consuming, but these collars now they're drilled out, they're so much easier. I can pull this off to show you. I mean, this is how how they've always been. Whenever I've used collars, you know, they just push on. They're tight, but they're not like so tight you can't do it. And with the other ones, like before you drill them out, they're just too tight. I mean, that's not coming off. Not in a hurry anyway. Right, now, they're not for this valve, they are for this valve. Now, same with this valve. I've centralised this. And basically this is the valve to lock out the front axle. So while the servo is horizontal, it's open, and while it's in the position it's in now, it's closed. Now what I did was I connected up to the receiver, plugged it in, and then put a piece of hose on here and blew down the hose, and then you can tell when it's obviously locked out and when it isn't. It actually seals remarkably well, much better than I was expecting it to. And I also noticed that this valve was ever so slightly tight. But again, I just took it apart, just these 4 screws. Once you've undone these 4 screws, it's literally just the cam inside the middle and an O-ring. That's all that's to it. So don't be afraid of taking these apart. They're really simple inside. There's nothing to them. And yeah, I just checked that everything had enough lubrication on all the O-rings and everything. So I put a bit of hydraulic oil in there, swiveled it all about, and yeah, it moves lovely now. So these are the fittings that came on this. So take them off because you won't need them. And then these ones, 105. Yeah, a shorter one on the left hand side, longer one on the right hand side. Big screwdriver. Again, just tighten them up nicely, no thread lock necessary, because it's got the graphite washers in these. Again, if you go too mad tightening them up, the graphite washers, they just split, and then you end up needing to replace them, but you probably won't notice it until you fire it up and it starts leaking fluid everywhere. So just they need to be tight, but not overly tight. Right. These little parts. Let's try and spin that round. If it will, which it probably won't. So face that forward. Same with that one. Face it forward. Put that to one side. Now we need, not that one yet, we need these brass Again, I fitted all these banjo fittings off camera because they're an absolute pain. Well, they're just time consuming. There's no real trick to doing them, I suppose. Alright, so we need these are the longer ones. Longer ones first. That piece. One of them. Right. Guessing that's going to end up something like that, by the looks of it. So I think we'll start by fitting that to this. 2x12. Some M2 nuts, which aren't a lot of nuts. Four of them. 2x12. Obviously, because there's no lock nuts on these, we'll definitely use thread lock on this. That behind. Another tip for getting thread lock just on the end of the thread, use a cocktail stick, just dab it in, wipe it around the end. Form now, but they're not going to go on, so that will just have to be held as best as you can. Use my little wrench. It's not going to go in there either. Pair along those pliers or square edge pliers will do the job. Like so. And then there you want to go that way round. I do like how LESU include all the hard lines. They make such a nice job of everything. Compared to just having hoses flapping about everywhere. I know they can be slightly restrictive sometimes, but that's just a question of giving them a little tweak here and there if they are tightened up a bit too much. Like these ones on. That's pretty good. Again, make sure they're nice and tight. Looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now with the next ones. Different on this one, I go heads through that way, and not the other side. be that way around. Again, they want to be level with each other, like so. Some bits. Put them to one side. Right, now wheel bolts. I've done most of these because again these are just tedious. There's 10 in each, obviously that's 40 bolts to do, so pretty sure you didn't want to see me sat there doing all them, so I've done most of them. Just 3 left to do. Now again, when doing these, you only want thread lock on the bottom of the bolt. So just get it on your driver, get some thread lock just at the bottom of the bolt. And then when you do it up, it's only going to go in where you want it and not all the way down the thread. Last one. Like so. Alright, and then wheels and tyres, same again. I've done the other ones already. I decided to paint the wheels black to match, so there's a little bit of paint on them, but not too much. That goes on nicely. And then you get these lovely scale little wheel bolts. M2.2s. No, sorry, M2 by 2.5 by 2. But they've got really thin shoulders on them. They look amazing. Now, same again. Don't want thread lock everywhere on this, so basically I'll just get some on my stick and go around just putting a dab on each bolt. Now just go around and do the whole lot. Don't need much on these. I can't see them coming undone easily. That's it. Right, and just load the nut into the tool, wind it on. absolutely great. Not big bulky lock nuts like they used to use. Tyres. I always put the tyres on from the back of the rim, so if you do end up pulling any paint off, you're going to pull it off the back and not on the front. Although I've just done, yeah, I've done that right. So that way you've not damaged the front of the rim at all. Dragging the tyre on. And make sure it's seated properly all the way around, inside and out. And now it does say to glue these, but I've never ever glued tyres on anything to do with trucks or construction. I just don't, I mean, you can't really spin that at all, and that's putting some serious load on it. These little rings that were in the kit, found out what they were for. They go between the tyres. Again, painted them black so you don't see some silver shiny ring between the wheels. Right, now when you put the inside one on, I tend to pull them on a bit further than what they should go, and then you can just go around and check and make sure that it's seated nicely, which it is, and then sort out the outer bead like so. Stick that on there for safekeeping. Done. Right, next we need this thing. It tells us to put a couple of these little shims in there. Some M3x8s, which are not there. 3x4, that's probably them. Again, it's telling me to use thread lock on these, which I definitely will be doing. Right, other way up. Now it's telling me to do the opposites either side of, that's the oil feed to go through the ring, so it's telling me to do them too. Again, dab thread lock. Make sure they're nice and tight. Now, I use these a lot for most of it, but when I want to get a bit of extra tension on things, I will use the bigger tools just to make sure they are tight. I think that's it for that one. Yep. What's the transfer gearbox again? And drive shafts. That's a 40mm drive shaft, which is the little tiddly. Right, now then, with drive shafts, it's very important to have these lined up throughout the whole of the drive line, so all of the UJs need to be in the right direction. If you get them wrong, like so, when you drive forward, it will jerk ever so slightly, and when you turn corners, it will be even more apparent. I forgot what they call it now, but yeah, there's a video on YouTube that explains it. I didn't actually realise this until someone pointed it out to me. So many people get a LESU truck, pull it apart, don't pay attention to that, me being included, and then yeah, when you put it back together, it's really like jerky, and that was my problem. Literally, just one of my drive shafts was like that, in the wrong position, and just that simple thing just made the world of difference. So very important when you fit them to make sure they are all bang on the right way. Which again, we'll put this one on, and then yeah, when we get to the next ones, I'll show you again how to get them all dead in line. Right, now it tells you to put this on, but obviously as soon as I put that on, it's just going to fall apart, so I'm not even going to bother putting that half on just yet. Again, you want to use thread lock on these. Now you've got two grub screws, you've got a long one and a short one. The long one needs to line up with the hole in the shaft, so that will go right down into it. And again, that one. Nice and tight. Right, so I'm going to put that probably back in the drive shaft bag just for now, so I know where it is. That says to put that to one side, and there's to put these. These are the front pivots for the front axle. Stick the bushings in these. And just a simple push fit. Yep. Slot in there nicely. Do love how, again, LESU uses bushes at every pivot point, which is really nice. Now it says to put the tread plates on the side boxes. I did that before I painted them because I wanted them all the same colour. So I won't worry about that. Right. Now on the main chassis part, which is that. We need to slot these in. So a longer one in the front. Feed the lines out the side, like so. And then it's saying M2x4 scale headed bolts, which is these. All that money. Again, we use thread lock on these. that. And these in the rear. Just goes out the same side. Try not to do what I've done and get the lines all mixed up. That's that. Right, they're empty by 4 and they go through this side, so they're not scale-headed bolts, they're just normal cap heads. Button heads, sorry. Again, you might need to manipulate these hard lines to exactly where you want them. But I mean, they do bend fairly easily. Just try your very hardest not to kink them, because they do kink very easily. Just do really shallow bends, a little bit at a time, and it'll be fine. Right, back up the right way. Now we need the side boxes. They are M2 by 6 button heads. Which one will we use? Everything screws together so nicely on these kits. Again, if you get any thread lock on your fingers, be sure to wipe it off, because thread lock will eat the paint as well. Right, I think we'll leave that one there. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much.